Today we're talking about something very important, cyberbullying. Cyberbullying happens online, in group chats, games, social media, and it can really affect how people feel. It's it is something many students experience and some people don't want to talk about. To help us understand this topic better, we are joined by some special guests today. We have Madam Machine, our technology manager, Madam Shakira, our head of Wellbeing, and Mr. Fancy, our PYP counselor. Thank you all for joining us today. We are really excited to have you here. Before we begin our discussion for today, we would like to listen to a short interview from a student who has been cyberbullied. As you listen, try and think about how the student might be feeling and what stood out. How often do you use your device?
My phone, I use it less. I usually use it to check messages on WhatsApp, my family groups and my friends. My laptop, I use it most of the day.
Okay. Which media platforms do you use mostly?
Most? YouTube, Spotify, WhatsApp, Snapchat. Sometimes Pinterest.
Have you ever been cyberbullied online?
Yeah, Snapchat. So that time I was year 6 and they had this year 6 group chat and I was added to it. But then whenever I tried communicating in it, they'd all start being rude, saying shut up, no one asked you to talk and stuff like that. So eventually I decided I should not be wasting my time when people are being rude to me. So I decided to leave the group chat. But then whenever I tried leaving the group chat, other people would try and convince me and just add me back to the group every time. I felt a bit hurt because they won't let me feel comfortable because if you're gonna keep someone in a group chat and not allow them to talk, there's no point of staying in the group chat. It's your phone will just go ding, 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 ding every time and you can't respond to it.
How did it affect you in some way, your mental health, your physical health, etc.?
Mental health, I felt really hurt, especially because some of my closest friends were also part of those people. Physically, I got very tired and it stopped me from doing some stuff.
So, what did you do when this happened?
When it happened, after they kept on adding me back, I decided to talk to my sister about it. And she was telling me ways I could resolve it. I don't really remember since that was 2 years ago. But yeah, I ended up leaving the group. And after that, I got a bit better since I actually could feel well with the actual friend groups that are with my real friends, not fake ones that decide to make me shut up. Yeah.
How did it affect your learning?
My learning? Sometimes it would make me overthink during lessons, and I also would get distracted easily because of it. So I wouldn't have good understanding about topics when the teacher is explaining.
Okay. How did you overcome it, and do you still feel sad about it?
I overcame it by deciding to talk to one of my friends that were part of the group. I talked to her, and then eventually when I left the group again, this time they did not add me back, so I felt a bit relieved that I wouldn't always know that they're talking bad about me, even though it is bad to do that. I still get affected by it sometimes because sometimes similar stuff to that happen still, but I know how to handle it now.
How did the school help you overcome this?
Well, Sometimes when I get affected by it or overthink it too much, I would ask my teachers to like visit the Wellbeing, and I'd have sessions with them and talk to them about it.
Did it affect your social life? Like, were you aggressive or did it affect the people around you?
I got scared to interact with people after, especially because there's specific people that were like saying those stuff to me. I felt hurt whenever they try acting like nice to me after being mean, because I felt like they're just being fake. So it did make me a bit more introverted than I actually am, but I got better after. And now I have good friends. Well, it's obviously very bad because it can affect people in many different ways. And sometimes it affects people way more than the people, like the person expects. Some end up killing themselves, some end up hurting themselves. It's pretty similar to normal bullying, like face-to-face interaction bullying.
But she's not.
Well, yeah, it's not good because you don't know how the person feels after, because most people think it's just fun and games when it clearly isn't.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, thank you for all listening. Based on what you heard, what are your general thoughts or reactions? Should I go ahead? Okay, so I feel listening to what the person said, that happened to them a long time ago, and the impact was more prominent than like it affected them physically, it affected them mentally, and you could see from the interview that it was so impactful that it affected every aspect of their life. So cyberbullying can be extremely impactful in a negative way, and that's what I got from the interview.
So I think what I got from the interview is the fact that she was able to stand up for herself to some extent, where she reported to an adult, that's her elder sister, and in order to get some support to take steps for herself. I think that was a very great step for her to just take steps for her by asking an adult.
Yes, I agree with both of you, and I'll add that by identifying the problem and removing herself from it, I love at the end, my favorite line was, now I have better friends, right? And so a lot of times, people find themselves in a loop of discomfort or oppression, and a lot of times it's just about removing yourself from the situation and trusting that something positive will come out of that.
Okay, so thank you for sharing your thoughts. That really helps us understand the situation better. Now, let's take a closer look at what cyberbullying actually means. So, I have a few questions to you, Ariana. So, in your view of cyberbullying, okay, so when you make bullying into an online format and you make digitized, it becomes cyberbullying. And it amplifies the bullying, because when sometimes bullying could be a one-to-one when it's in a physical scenario, this now amplifies, and it can have a lot of participants who are maybe just bystanders, or like the girl mentioned about a group chat where there were some very nasty things being said, and you have some passive listeners, passive people who were passively participating in this conversation. They were not saying anything, they were not doing anything, but the truth is they were actually able to see your entire conversation. So cyberbullying just becomes digitized, amplified in a big way, and it is more, it affects the child more than both bullying and cyberbullying are bad. But cyberbullying affects people in really a very bad way, much more deeper than a regular bullying case would be. Okay, and What is the school's policy on cyberbullying? So we have a zero tolerance policy on cyberbullying. We have built in within our behavior modules special cases where cyberbullying, how to treat such cases, and we do not accept cyberbullying at all, not in the school, and not if it's done even outside of school hours. Thank you for helping us understand that more clearly.
So now that we know what cyberbullying is, let's talk about how it affects the student. So, Madam Shakira and Mr. Pants, I have a question for you. What is the impact of cyberbullying on students' emotional or mental health academic?
That's a great question. That's why we're here, right? Wow, it can have a big impact on the student, and I would say not just the one who's being bullied, but even those who are bullying, right? There's a saying that hurt people, right? And Fatima says that when you dehumanize others, you dehumanize yourself. And so it's really important to recognize that I believe that we all have light in us, we all have good, right? And sometimes we socialize because of fear, because of difference. And a lot of times what I'm saying with our youth globally is that they have unmet needs. And so when their needs are not met, the easiest thing to do is to become mean. Being angry is actually easier than being sad, right? And so when you're mean or when you're sad, when you're upset, and you take it out on others who may even be close to you. And so for the person who is doing the bullying, it's impacting them, their mental health, because they're not able to process their feelings. They're not able to identify their needs. They're not able to request what they need, right? And so it becomes a ripple effect. Now, for the person who's receiving the harm, who's receiving the bullying, it can impact your ability to socialize. You might feel really insecure. It can impact your ability to trust others. If you don't feel safe psychologically, you're not able to learn. You're not able to open up your mind. We all know that learning requires a level of vulnerability, right? We have to take risks. We have to be okay with the fact that you may not be right. But if you've been attacked and been harmed, then it's very easy to close up, and that prohibits you from being able to learn, to explore, to being able to take on all of the wonderful regular profiles that we have, all of these things that can really help you advance as a learner. So it's harmful for the person receiving the harm, it's harmful for the person doing, and then for the community at large. And I'll leave it to Mr. Kennedy to pick up from there.
Okay, all right. The general one, Shakira has mentioned all of that, but I think I'll connect mine to what we just listened to. Now, so the student was saying that when she was in class, she was overthinking it, right? So, meaning that the student has gone through the experience, and the experience did not end there. Still carry the feelings and emotions and the experience to class. To the extent where, as class was going on, learning was ongoing, was still thinking about it. Now, in the space where you keep on thinking about stuff, or thinking stuff, you tend to create scenarios that drain you, right? It makes you think more negative of yourself. And that impacts your academics, that impacts your friendship, and all that I'm talking about. So, all I'm trying to say is whenever someone goes through any form of bullying, in this situation, cyberbullying, the person carries over the effect into every aspect of them. So, it just doesn't end there. So, there's a ripple effect that is mostly negative when it comes to cyberbullying.
Okay, those are really important points to think.
Okay, so sometimes it can be hard to tell when someone is being cyberbullied. So how do we should? And what are some signs we should look out for to identify? Okay, so if we're saying signs, is identify digitally if somebody is being cyberbullied. Basically, anything that is mean, that hurts people's feelings, that affects how they are as a person, is cyberbullying. So, if you, it was mentioned
in the audio clip that some children were saying, students were saying, shut up. If it affects you, then this is cyberbullying. And any case where somebody's physical appearance or is demeaned, if people are demeaned in any way online, then it is considered cyberbullying. So it could be talking about how you look, or using words like shut up and don't talk, see your face, and things like that. All these are considered under cyberbullying as long as they affect the person in a negative way.
Okay, thank you. That was really helpful and the students become.
Okay, so now that we know what cyberbullying is, let's talk about how it affects. Prevention is always better than. What measures can we put into place to avoid cyberbullying?
Okay, so I would say, and sometimes bullying affects everybody. Bullying is all around. And when it goes to an online space, every single thing that we do physically to stop bullying is what we need to do online to stop bullying. So as an example, if you are not going to say nasty words to someone online, then you don't say the same things online. You have to be very careful as students, as people, that whatever you say online stays forever. So physically, two people can say something to each other and it goes away, but online, everything stays forever. So you have to be mindful. I would say that prevention of cyberbullying doesn't have to do anything with cyber etiquette. It has to do with more who you are as a person and whatever rules you follow morally, ethically as a person. It should just translate and transfer automatically into your digital space. So if you don't say shut up to somebody in person, you don't say shut up to somebody online as well. So basically, it is more about who you are as a person, and you prevent it by ensuring that you behave morally and ethically wherever you are, whichever space you are, no matter who is watching.
Yes, Ariana, I think I would just add up to what she said. So we know in our school system, ARIS, for example, we don't have policies, but we have the behavioral rules that students are not supposed to cross, right? And if a student does something like causing someone harm, any form of bullying, like cyberbullying, the person will go through some form of direction, where they will be directed to do the right behavior, do the right thing going forward. Also in the school, we know that we have the child protection that falls under the Wellbeing division, right? Which is like one secure, right? So we do in a school system, if you want to manage it, you have to train the students, you have to train the teachers, you have to train the parents in order for them to be aware so that they can guide the community in order not to move away from any form of bullying.
Those are really great ways we can all help people.
So if someone is cyberbullying, it's important to know what to do.
I have a question for Madam Shakira and Mr. How do we deal with cyberbullying when someone becomes a
How do we deal with it? So generally, what we do is, first of all, we're grateful whenever students come. Right? A lot of times people think that we know what's going on. We don't know what's going on unless you come and communicate with us. So I always have to give gratitude just for being able to speak up, because it takes courage, right? Sometimes people are scared that people will laugh at them or someone will say, hey, you told on us. But it's always better to speak up, especially for yourself, or if you see someone who's really harmed. But generally, what we do is we meet with students and we figure out what's going on, and we try to hear the voices from different people who are involved, and then we try to do some healing circles, right? So there, it depends on the level, right? If it's something where someone doesn't understand the impact of their words, Mr. Matty mentioned training, right? Sometimes people say harmful things. For example, if it's xenophobic, if it's racist, or if it's something that's offensive to someone's culture. People sometimes have ignorance. So we want to make sure that we're educating people to help them understand why something's hurtful. If it's, you say something like, all girls are, well, you're a girl, so you're a girl. You get it? Well, actually, hold on, that's not right. And so we want to make sure that we're educating kids. It's not just about punishing them, but helping them understand the impact. So that can be through a series of sessions in collaboration with for you are going to be in PYP next year. So that would be with Madam Sanvi or Mr. Fred in primarily kind of bond to have a lot of discipline. But generally, the way our school approaches is it's more educational and centered towards healing and repair.
I do want to add one more thing to this, that on our behavior policy, we have levels of cyberbullying. And if you reach level 3 of cyberbullying, then these cases are then handled by cybersecurity cell, because as a school, we are, it is within our circle of care and within our duties. It's important for us to report any such cases to the cybersecurity cell. And that's a government organization and that investigates such cases. So just that little thing that where it goes beyond our hand. When it's a level 3, we are required by law to escalate.
Okay, so I have a question to Madam Secretary and Mr. Council. So how can we support what can we do to make sure the person who is being bullied feels safe?
That's a great question. Stop the bullying first and foremost. We want to stop the bullying, and a lot of times we think we come up with a lot of solutions in our mind. This person is this or that, without actually asking the person what they need. So a lot of times, we take a human-centered approach. So what is it that you need? And I think we go from there. So try to heal and prepare.
Yes. So to make the students feel safe in school, we encourage them to come to us and report to us. Right? We have to we've created a space for them to come to us and tell us when they have any challenge with that anyone want to experience that doesn't make them feel okay. So just opening the space and creating the space for them to come to us. That's when it moves mountains. We're always saying to the process.
Okay. So, how can we support a friend who has been cyberbullied?
Right. So in supporting a friend who has been cyberbullied, if you're a student and you realize your friend has gone through anything, you can encourage your friend to go report. And I know that we have this in our system where some students feel that they are snitching instead of reporting. And so snitching is when a student intentionally wants to put another student in trouble. But encouraging your friend to report is trying to help your friend who has probably gone through something that has affected their well-being. So there are two different things. So encourage your friend to report, and sometimes you can also refer your friend by coming to meet any of the school teachers, the school leadership. Just tell us about it, and then we can see how we can support your friend through you or with you as well.
That's great. And that's kind of like a post-incident way to support. If you feel, I know that sometimes when it's happening, you may not feel comfortable, especially with different power dynamics. But there's a line that we used to have in the metro growing up in DC, and we said, see something, say something. And so, I don't know, she mentioned earlier bystander. And it's really fascinating when you look at history, like upstanders and bystanders. So sometimes I used to teach history. We learn about events in the past, and we're like, wow, if I was there, I definitely would not have let them, but I would have stood up for this unjust thing that happened. And sometimes we think about it as really big events where we have to be an upstander. But if you're in a group chat and you see that someone's being made fun of or being cyberbullied, that's an opportunity for you to be an upstander, right? That's an opportunity for you to stand for justice, for you to be compassionate. And so if you're comfortable simply saying, hey, that's not funny, or I think that's really offensive, to that line. You can come to the building office, we can give you 100 plus lines and ways in which you can intervene. But sometimes the impact in that moment, especially for the person being bullied, who might feel isolated, for them to know, hey, someone stood up for me, or someone else recognizes this isn't okay, can go a long way. So we encourage you all, as we're developing empathy and communication skills, to use that voice to stand up for justice and to speak up.
Okay, so thank you. I have one last question for you guys. So what should someone do if they're being cyberbullied?
I think
What should someone do if they're being cyberbullied?
Oh, what should someone do when they're being cyberbullied? I think the very first thing is you should be able to report it to another, right? It depends on where it's happening, whether you're at home or in school. But you should be able to report it. You don't keep it to yourself. Because the more you keep it to yourself, it will make you overthink. So if you're going to cyberbullying, first please report, especially if you can manage it yourself.
Okay, so like what about blocking the others? Is that okay?
Yes, I was going to say that I love what the student who we heard did. Remove yourself in the situation. You do not need to take me. And the nice thing about cyber is not, there's nothing nice about cyberbullying, but the difference between that is not she mentioned digitization, right? If you're in a room and someone's speaking negatively to you, it can be kind of awkward. Like, okay, how do I get out of this? Or to be in class, right? But you can just step away from your phone. You can get out of that group. Maybe it's something that you need to be in between in class. But you don't have to. A lot of times we forget that we can take breaks from our phones. And so I encourage you to do that. This is a wonderful tool to get access to the world's knowledge, but it's not the center of your life. And so sometimes tapping back into reality and connecting with those around you who are there to support you, who are there to love you, to be kind to you, to make a big difference.
Right. I would like to add something to what Dr. Shakira said, that I think a lot of times students don't realize they're being cyberbullied, right?
Yeah.
In most of the cases. So I think one of the first steps is also to understand like you're being cyberbullied, because they just feel it's just a regular conversation till it actually spirals down to something really big, and that's when you realize that something big has happened while you've been cyberbullied.
Alright. I kind of have ideas coming in my head. It seems like a question. So, so we know we have some of the slides, so probably to send something in a group message and then delete it afterwards.
Yeah.
So they tease you and afterwards delete it. So you my students you screenshot it and share as a report.
Yeah, so actually, a lot of times, I don't know what your age group is using, but a lot of students use Snapchat. And on Snapchat, if you take pictures, you take screenshots, if you try to download some media, it's visible to all the people. That can also lead to more bullying. But it's important that when you're being bullied, yes, you should take a screenshot, because you need to be able to produce the evidence to say that this is what happened to me. Because some of the people who really do crazy level of cyberbullying know how to go about deleting their tracks, you know what I mean? So you're right, it should be like a screenshot. You should take a screenshot and you should flag it as soon as somebody has posted it. Right.
So we have learned so much from this discussion. And also soon we are coming to the end of our podcast. What are your closing remarks or advice for our students?
Okay, so I will, although my job is really technical, but I will speak from a very non-technical aspect of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying wouldn't exist if we decide to discipline ourselves and know how to engage with people. So I think for every single person, you can help cyberbullying by ensuring that you're disciplined in how you interact with other people online. And I think that comes again, I'll go back to the point that Mr. Fatima mentioned is about training. So all this digital training that we do in the school for you people, you should pay attention to it, and you should understand it is for something that helps you in the future. So at the end of the day, I would say for cyberbullying, be the nicest person you can be, whether online or offline, whether someone is watching or not watching?
Well, I think I'll go with care. Taking it from the learner profile attributes. I think being caring generally in a school community or in any community you find yourself, whether you follow them or not, helps. Just generally being nice and generally making sure that everyone feels okay and happy around you and feel safe around you is enough to make sure that nobody ever goes through any form of pain or a negative experience. So I think I'll go for care.
I agree with both of them. I'll say communicate, right? So, that people may not know what they believe. If you're not comfortable, if someone's saying something that hurts you, that offends you, if you're talking about your physical body, right? Like there's certain things that are clear cues. And so I'd say communicate. You can express if something doesn't make you feel comfortable, you can express that. If that conversation doesn't go well, reach out to a trusted adult. But communicate. You don't have to keep things like this. It's really important that you express yourself and communicate when you feel discomfort.
Okay, so there's just one last question.
Okay.
So the question is, if you're being cyberbullied, what can you do on your device?
Okay, so if you're being cyberbullied, it depends on what media are you being cyberbullied on. So for example, if somebody is sending you emails, you can easily block the person on your email. If you're being bullied on a group chat, then you can exit the group chat. If you're being bullied in ways like when somebody hacks into your device and is able to send you content, then you should be able to quickly escalate it by sending it to the IT department at your school. So it depends on how you're being bullied, but these are simple ways of you being able to address it. How do you stop that?
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and advice with us today. We have learned that cyberbullying is serious, but we can all help stop it.
Let's remember to always be kind and respectful online.
And most importantly, stop thinking quick.
Let's make our online spaces safe and kind for everyone.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Stop, think, and click. Stop cyberbullying now.